You are Locked On Eagles Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Philadelphia, on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome to the Locked On Eagles Postcast. I thought misery would take some time to come to us. Clearly it hasn't. I'm Jason Myrtetus. That's Harry Mayes. You can find me on Twitter at Jason Myrtetus. You can find Harry on at Harry H. Mayes. Is it H. Mayes?
Harry Mayes TU. It's right up there on the damn screen.
Yeah, I should. I'll see you're in rare form already.
Well, I'll tell you what. If it weren't for Saquon Barkley botching that little pass, if he catches that pass and gets a first down, the game is over because they can start taking knees. And that's unbelievable. They had to kick the field goal. And then the Falcons get the ball with a minute and a half left with no timeouts and zip down. I think they had one timeout. Did they have one timeout?
They had one timeout.
They had one timeout. And they zip down the field and score a touchdown. Oh, my God.
We're going to break down the drive and the game-winning drive. They're two different things.
Yes.
Let me tell you, today's episode is brought to you by GameTime. Download the GameTime app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. And remember, you can always check out the show right as the horn sounds for each and every Eagles game. We have the Locked On Eagles postcast, and you can see that on the Locked On Philly YouTube page. So make sure you subscribe, ring the bell, you get notified when we go live, like I said, which is at the final horn of each and every Eagles game. Well, I mean, I'm changing the graphics as we're going here. I can't believe this transpired the way it did with an Atlanta Falcon team and Kirk Cousins, who wasn't exactly going up and down the field at all tonight. And then all of a sudden, with all the chips on the table, you brought it up, Saquon Barkley drops an absolute gimme to salt this thing away. I don't know if he walks into the end zone, but he gets the first down.
First down, and then they could just take a couple of knees. Really, the game's over.
Wow.
Instead, they have to kick the field goal, and that gives Atlanta the chance to get the ball back with a minute and a half to go. And Cousins made a couple of nice throws. Next thing you know, they're in the red zone. And they threw one down in this, back of the center of the end zone. It looked like it was pass interference on the Eagles. It was not called on McLeod, the wide receiver for Atlanta. But the next play, he finds Drake London basically wide open in the corner of the end zone. He just like waltzes in for a touchdown, and then gets a penalty for celebrating, like an idiot, which backs up Younghoe Koo for the extra point, where it's now like a real field goal. It was like a 48-yard extra point. So you're thinking like, wow, he might miss this. Maybe they go to overtime. He makes it. Eagles get the ball back with, 35 seconds left, make one nice, real big play, and then all of a sudden a linebacker gets in Jalen Hurts' face as he's throwing the ball, and it gets picked off. Game's over. Unbelievable. I was just about to laud the quarterback for being great tonight, too, because he was.
I was, too. Matter of fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put up the graphic I had.
Yeah, put up the old graphic.
So there, Eagles 2-0, Hurts so good, Hurts by the numbers, drive of the game.
Yeah.
Well, that's out the window because now we're at Eagles fall, epic loss, Hurts by the numbers, and the drive of the game is not the Eagles drive.
No,
the 7-play, 70-yarder.
9.5 minutes.
Yeah, 17 play, I should say.
17 plays, 70 yards, 9.5 minutes. It was brilliance, and Hurts is making plays with his legs. He finally gets the TD, and Barkley gets the 2-point conversion. They're up 18-15. You're thinking everybody's singing "Fly Eagles, Fly!" Boom, boom, boom.
Yep.
The place is going bananas, and you're thinking, oh, they're going to win this game. And I feel like a sports reporter in the booth, right? You're writing your story, right? You're trying to get it done early. You got deadlines, and you're starting to write it as the fourth quarter is, running down, and all of a sudden the game changes, and you got to scrap the whole thing and start over.
You pull that thing off the old typewriter, tear it up, and say, "Jeez, what just happened?"
Oh my goodness! And the defense made some big plays again tonight, holding Atlanta to field goals at the end of the first half. Brandon Graham had the face mask, but the Eagles D stiffened anyway, held him to a field goal. It was 7-6 at halftime. Then you had Milton Williams with a big sack on third down at the beginning, the first drive of the third quarter for the Falcons, held them to another field goal. It was 9-7. And you're like, all right, they're going to get this right. Hurts starts scrambling to his right, making plays with his arms and his legs. Everything was great. No A.J. Brown. You're like, yeah, they're going to win this game. Oh, my God.
Yeah, this is one of those games, Harry, where they literally ripped defeat from the jaws of victory. Yeah. They really did.
Kidding.
They found a way to lose this game.
And
look, I know it's only week 2, and I don't know if it but frankly, this is a huge missed opportunity because this was an 0-1 team coming in Atlanta who showed nothing last week against the Pittsburgh Steelers. They had no offense.
Right. Pittsburgh had no offense either. I mean, they had 6 field goals, and the quarterback threw for like 100 yards, and they went in there and beat them. But, I mean, this is one where you thought you were going to get it, and you thought you did. You had it. I mean, Kirk Cousins came into this game with a 12-20 record in primetime games.
Yeah.
And he got a big one tonight, man. That was an impressive drive by Cousins down the stretch there in that final minute. And I still can't believe it happened.
Yeah, I mean, he turns into the player of the game just because of the most consequential element of the game.
Yeah.
With such little time on the clock and a ton of real estate in front of him.
And you're also thinking like Gardner Johnson. I mean, he stuffed Robinson on that 4th and 1.
Yep.
And Atlanta's in their own territory. Go for it on 4th and 1. And Gardner Johnson comes up and sticks his nose right into the running back and stuffs him. And the helmet came off, and I thought he kind of took it off partially. He got away with it. They picked up the flag. But that was a huge turning point, too, in the game.
Yep.
And you're like, they're going to win.
This is one of those games, Harry, that you can look back on as you come down the stretch because it's against an NFC team.
Yeah.
And this is one that, you go, oh, yeah, it's only week 2. You still got a lot of games in front of you. Don't make it matter. But the fact of the matter is they don't play enough games where it's easy to not make a game like this, a loss like this, matter.
Yeah, I know, and especially when you had a week where the Cowboys, Niners, and Lions all lost.
Yeah, and the Cowboys got thrashed.
Cowboys got throttled by the team that you're going to visit next week in New Orleans, which is now a game where you're thinking like, oh my, the beginning of the season you're thinking, New Orleans, what are they going to have?
Yeah.
The Eagles will win that game. Now it's not looking so good.
Yeah, New Orleans' chances to make the playoffs are the highest riser in the NFL.
Is that right?
Yeah, based on the start. So
that was an impressive win last week by them. But I'll tell you, this is unbelievable.
I mean, this is an impressive loss, Harry.
It really is.
You know what I mean? Like, it's almost unbelievable that they lost this game the way they did. I thought Barkley played. He wasn't as spectacular as he was a week ago.
Yeah.
He was really good early on, and then he came out of the game for a little bit too long, I thought. And I think they were managing him a little bit. But that's a guy that can give you everything. He can run the ball in power. He can run the ball in space. He can catch the ball. He does everything.
He couldn't catch it on that third down. I mean, that's the game right there.
Yeah, I mean, is that just a loss of concentration on that? He didn't hear footsteps because nobody was near him.
Right off the tip of his fingers.
Oh, it was butter.
Yeah.
It was perfectly placed.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
so, look, this is, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This is a horrible loss. It's a horrible loss.
It really is. At home, your home opener against a team that really, came in here really with no momentum whatsoever. Cousins, still coming off that Achilles injury from last year.
He had no mobility,
His timing with his receivers wasn't good last week, and it wasn't good early on in this game. And then, they started to piece it together. And I'd say you start looking at this Eagles defense. I know they made a bunch of big plays when they needed to and hold teams to field goals, which is great. But you can run on this team. This is two straight weeks now where both Green Bay and Atlanta pretty much had their way running the football against this Eagles defense. So that's something they're really going to have to try to shore up because that is not good.
Total of 152 rushing yards allowed.
Yeah.
Well, 153 really.
Yeah, and it wasn't
Kirk Cousins
just
had -1.
It wasn't just Robinson. It was Algier, too. He was running on him nicely.
Especially in that second half. And that one drive, he picked up some really big chunks.
Yeah.
And this is a horrible loss because it's against an NFC team. And you say, Harry, this is the home opener. It's actually technically their second home game.
Yeah, I know.
Because Brazil's a home game for them.
Yeah, don't get me started with that.
Yeah, we don't need to go back there. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk about not one, but 2 drives. There were 2 drives in this game. One we thought would be what catapults the Eagles to win, and then the other, the drive, the game-winning drive led by Kirk Cousins, the one that ended up being the one that caused the Eagles to lose. We'll do that when we get back.
All right, I got to tell you about Prize Picks. You know about it, Jason. Prize Picks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members and counting. Prize Picks, it's the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. And unlike other apps, on Prize Picks, it's just you against the numbers. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings start to roll in. You can now win up to 100 times your money. That's right, 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. Prize Picks puts their members first, too, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money in as quick as 15 minutes. Download the Prize Picks app today and use the code LOCKEDONNFL, all one word, Locked On NFL, and get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's the code Locked On NFL on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play just $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks, run your game.
Let me tell everybody to make their first listen. Locked On Eagles. Make it your first listen every day. It's free. Free everywhere. Available wherever you get all your podcasts, whether it's iTunes, Apple, Stitcher, Spotify, you name it. It's all there. And also available on YouTube. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. All right, Harry, let's get into the 2 drives. We've got not 1, but 2 drives. We start out with the Eagles drive, which put them in a very commanding position in this game. Atlanta had gone for 2. I thought that they went for 2 a little early in a tight game to do it in that spot.
I agree.
But they go for the 2 there, and the culmination of the 17-play, 70-yard, 9-minute, and 34-second drive and the 2-point conversion puts the Eagles up 3. And you talked about it earlier. That drive was just a mixture of just about everything. A little Devontae Smith. There was a little Dallas Goedert in there. Very little. You had, obviously, Jalen Hurts running the ball. He ends up with 85 yards total on the night on 13 carries.
Yeah.
And the offense, a couple tush pushes to boot. I mean, you look at that drive, you go, that's a signature drive early in the season.
Yeah, they converted a bunch of third downs in that drive. You know, you have Britton Covey making plays, made a 9-yard reception on the first 3rd and 4 at the Eagles 36, got him a first down. Then there's another 3rd and 6 right at midfield, and Hurts passed to Devontae Smith for 5 yards. That guy, I'll tell you, on 3rd down, he is automatic. He's going to catch the football and move the chains. Then they had the 4th and 1, and that was where you got the tush push. Where he went right behind the left guard for 3 yards. They had another 3rd and 2 they converted. And then, of course, the 3rd and 3 where he passed for the touchdown. But then they said that, Barkley's his knee hit right before the ball went over. And it was a good call. They had a really good camera angle.
I was stunned how good that call was.
Really good. That was a good call. But nonetheless, they got the touchdown with Jalen Hurts with the 1-yard run, and then Barkley gets the 2-pointer. I mean, just an impressive drive. And you're thinking, like, that's typically the type of drive that takes the opponent's will. You know, it's into the 4th quarter now. They're on the field forever. You gave up 8 points, and that should be the ball game. Pretty impressed with the way Atlanta hung in there. I really am.
Yeah,
they're not that type of team, or at least they never really have been.
No, they haven't been. And look, that'd be a great identity for Kirk Cousins to bring to that team.
Yeah.
But the Eagles, when they failed to get into the end zone on the final drive, and Barkley drops that pass, and they got to settle for that field goal. When Atlanta gets the ball back, there's a minute 39 left on the clock.
Yeah.
And you and I were already logged onto our StreamYard here, and we both said, they got a lot of time.
Yeah.
There's a lot of time here. Long way to go, but they got a lot of time.
Yeah.
It's like the Smokey and the Bandit. A long way to go and a short time to get there.
Yeah. But yeah, you look at this drive, the Atlanta drive. I mean, they took over at the 30, and I we could talk about this kickoff rule. I don't like it. It
just looks weird.
I don't like kicking the ball into the end zone and giving the team ball at the 30. It used to, that's especially with when Atlanta kicked off, they kicked it into the end zone too. I mean, the kicker's got to put it in between in that little landing area there and make them make a play on it and keep them short of the 30. I mean, to me, it's stupid.
Yeah, I don't know that they have any analytics on this yet, Harry.
No, yeah.
They got to let the nerds get in there and analytic it.
But Atlanta took over at their own 30-yard line, first and 10. He finds Pitts over the middle, gets 11 yards. Then he has one to Mooney for 21 yards. And
that's the one you go, uh-oh.
Yeah, they're already now at the
midfield.
The midfield, right. And then he got another one deep left to Mooney for another 26 yards. I mean, it was like boom, boom, boom. Then he gets London pushed out of bounds at the Eagles 7, and they still have 40-some seconds left. And a first down at the 7. I'm like, oh, my. Like, you said we're in big trouble.
Yeah, when they're down there at the 7, I'm going, they got so much momentum, too. I mean, there's just no stopping it. The snowball's rolling down the hill, and you can't slow it down. And you're looking at it, you're going, oh, my God. That's when it became like, oh, my God, they're going to lose.
Yeah, I know.
They're going to lose this game.
And that was one thing, and I know, Joe Buck and Aikman had pointed this out repeatedly over the course of the game. The Eagles weren't getting a lot of pressure on Cousins.
No.
They really weren't. And I know they had the one sack with Milton Williams and a couple of other plays, but man, they got to get more pressure. I mean, I know Fangio doesn't like the blitz and maybe blitzing it, but how about you get pressure with the big 3 guys in the middle?
Yeah.
Those first-round picks from Georgia.
Yeah, I mean, we got to look at that. I mean, that really is the moment of the game when they're down at that 7-yard. I'm reeling. I still cannot believe it.
Yeah.
I mean, people are checking in the comment section. This guy, Star Wars 99, says this was bad. And this guy, 8824 Baj, says, you're not going to win anything with this coaching QB. I thought the QB was good.
Yeah, I thought the QB was good tonight. I mean, he made plays with his legs. He was good. He until the final play, he didn't turn the ball over. Last week, he had 3 turnovers.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a clean game. He was very effective. I mean, you look at his final numbers, 23 of 30 for 183. It's not the big yardage. I get all that.
But they ran the ball a ton.
And he had 85 yards on the ground with 13 carries and a touchdown. I mean, I thought he played well up until the final throw.
Yeah, and look, they had 186 total yards on the ground, so the total offense is way up there, huge number.
I mean, let's not forget, Saquon Barkley had the ball in his fingertips. Yeah. That would have iced the game.
Yeah, KGB officer says that the play calling and squad's Butterfingers lost us this game. And Barkley's usually sure-handed.
He's usually really good out of the backfield catching passes.
I mean, that's kind of like the way I would target it almost by design. But for some reason, he just doesn't bring that one in. And, boy, you hope something when that happens like that in that spot that it's not going to cost you, but it cost him.
Yeah,
this is a cataclysmic loss.
Yep.
There's no doubt. There's no sugarcoating this. This is a really, really bad loss.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't want to have to give the ball back there at all. You just get the first down. You're probably inside the 5 with the first. Where'd they have the ball? At the 10, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like 3rd down and 3 from the 10. If I can remember correctly. So he would have gotten a first down inside the 5. I don't think he got in. He would have gotten in to score.
No, they had closed up on him.
They would have gotten the first down, and then you just start taking knees.
Yeah.
Atlanta has to call their final timeout, and then the game's over.
Yeah, then you run it out, and you're good to go. Cousins in this game, there was only 2 total sacks in the game.
Yeah, Milton
I was
Williams
surprised
had one.
by that. Yeah, Milton Williams had one, and Atlanta had one. That's it. There's only 2 total sacks in this game.
Yeah.
Cousins ends up 20 of 29 for 241 and 2 touchdowns, and obviously the game-winning touchdown. I thought he looked shaky. The first half was like a bore fest of a football game.
Oh yeah, it was It went fast, but nothing really happened.
Yeah, there wasn't, and that's probably why it went fast.
Yeah.
And usually
Yeah.
that's kind of, when you kind of go, oh, these are going really slow because there's nothing happening. But they ended up, Cousins ended up rallying his team. He's a gamer. There's no doubt about that. Matt Schulman messages in. He says, Hurts is trash. Time to pack it up. See, I'm not going there.
No,
I get you're hurt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, jeez. Barkley catches that ball like he should. They get a win. They're 2-0. On that final drive, Cousins, 11, 21, that's 32, 50, 58, another 5, 63, 60. He had 70 yards passing on that final drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And was running the ball, commanding it up and down the field. I thought he was.
No, I'm talking Cousins on the final drive.
Cousins, yeah.
70 of his passing yards were on that final drive. But yeah, I thought Hurts played a decent game until the very end.
So 70 of his 241 come in that one drive.
Yep.
Because they didn't run the ball that entire drive.
They didn't run it once.
No, there's no reason to.
Yep.
All right, we're going to come back and we're going to hand out game balls, but not to the people that earned the win. We're going to give them to the people that gave away the win. I realize there's only one game ball to give out. If I'm going to put blame on one person, I'm going to put it on two people. How about that? So we'll do that when we come back. All right, let me tell you about GameTime.co. You got to check out GameTime.co because this is awesome. Get your picks in, get your tickets. Pearl Jam was in town the other day. Wife said to me, "Did you know Pearl Jam's in town?" I said, "No." Go to GameTime.co. You can find some tickets. They got a really cool feature where you can see where your seats are. Now you go, okay, for a hockey game, a basketball game, you can just look at the thing. You can see where your seats are. But when there's a stage, you don't know. So you go to that feature. You check it out. The features on the app, easy to use, are fantastic. You just got to download the GameTime app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Now, terms do apply. Again, just redeem the code LOCKEDONNFL for that $20 off. So download the GameTime app today. What time is it? It's time for GameTime. Now, GameTime picks show you only the best venue and tickets. This is the good news. Last-minute deals on tickets right up to the start of the event. See, I wasn't planning on going to Pearl Jam. I ended up not going, but they're still there for you, even an hour before it starts. So when you're not a good planner like myself, that's what you do. You use the GameTime.co and get the GameTime app. Exclusive flash deals and sponsored deals on tickets for football, basketball, baseball, concerts, hockey, comedy, theater, and more. Zone deals are where you pick the section and GameTime picks the seats for great savings as well. And if you find tickets in the same section and row for less, GameTime will credit you 110% of the difference. So that's a great deal as well. If you end up booking tickets or something and you lose your job, how about this? Job loss assurance. If you lose your job and need a refund, they've got you covered there as well. Event cancellation protection, automatic full refunds for events that are canceled and not rescheduled. So you got to check out the GameTime app. It's got great stuff on there. 24-hour returns. Return your tickets within 24 hours from time of purchase for a full credit. Lowest price guarantee, event cancellation protection, 24-hour returns, and much more. Download the GameTime app today. All right, Harry, game ball time, but we're not giving it out. If your team wins, you give out game balls. Oh, Jalen Hurts was great. Or, oh, Saquon Barkley makes that easy catch, had some really big chunk yards where he went 9, 9, 9, 10, then 11 yards. But in this situation, when your team loses like this, I'm not in the mood to give out a celebratory game ball. The only game ball I'm giving out is a deflated one to Saquon Barkley because I depended on him.
And that's your Penn State guy.
I know.
Yeah.
It hurts, Harry. It hurts.
The Whitehall Zephyr himself.
Yes. I can't believe you know that the Whitehall's mascot is the Zephyr.
What do you think I am? I just turned up in town?
The other guy that I would probably give a deflated game ball to is Nick Sirianni. Because I didn't like the play calling in the first half at all.
Well, he's not calling the plays anymore.
Yeah, I know, but he's the manager, so he's going to get the blame. Kellen
Moore's offense now.
Yeah, but I didn't like the play calling in the first half. I didn't like him flipping out at the end there.
Well, yeah,
I just feel like I've seen too much of him.
He's very excitable. Yeah. He got
Have you had enough?
He's got no.
I'm not saying to fire him. I'm just like he annoys me.
Yeah, well, he's always kind of annoyed me a little bit.
You heard what Kelsey said during the game.
What did he? He was not very good.
No, he was a little flat.
I thought he'd have more a little oomph. He seemed very tired.
He didn't have a lot of juice. Well, maybe he was out there tailgating all day.
They've been working him too hard all day today, I think.
Well, did you see him dancing and stuff up there in the velour sweatsuit? I mean, they were trying to maximize every element of the Eagles' first home game in South Philly with Jason Kelsey on Monday Night Football by ESPN. So I think they may have worked him to the bone a little bit.
Yeah.
Because he did bring up Fletcher Cox and Nick Foles. They were behind the dog mask on the introduction stage. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh, yeah, of course. The dog mask.
I've had enough of the dog mask, too.
Never gets old. Never gets old.
No.
Oh, man.
But
now you're 1-1 heading to New Orleans, and then I think they have Tampa the week after that. So they got, all of a sudden, this NFC South division.
And then a bye week.
Looks half decent.
Yeah.
Like a couple of these teams, New Orleans and Tampa Bay look like they might be decent teams. So.
Well, at least we get back to 1 o'clock games, getting a little bit of a rhythm of this season.
Exactly.
Do you harbor any of the blame for this? I think this is a stretch. I'm going to ask you anyway. On the fact that the team played week 1 in Brazil?
No.
Nothing? You think there's no ill effect?
I don't think
it was so long ago.
I don't think that's why Saquon dropped that pass. I think it was just a little bit of
a
loss of focus.
And it was. It certainly was a big-time loss of focus.
Yeah.
Let's check in a couple more of our commenters. Ray Amato says, I'm worried how streaky this defense has been. Saints might just score a ton on us like they did against the Cowboys. I mean, the Saints look great.
Yeah. Yeah, they did.
That's a huge worry.
I mean, Alvin Kamara had a huge day, didn't he?
Yeah.
Making all kinds. They got a Lave out on a wide. They got some wide out that went to some small college that put up some big numbers last week.
Yeah,
I never even heard of this guy.
I mean, you looked in week 1 down in Brazil. The Eagles gave up a ton of points.
Yeah,
we thought that we were going to see that quite a bit. They didn't give up a ton of points in this game. It's just how this one broke down. They didn't score a ton either, and they put up a lot of total yards offensively. So
really a weird game.
Yeah, very bizarre. I'm just totally stunned that Kirk Cousins was able to do that at the end of the game. I did not see that coming.
No, I didn't either. Yeah, this guy, Rashid Shaheed. You know, watch out for him next week. For the Saints.
Not Rasheed Wallace, Harry.
No.
Well, that'll be next week, and there's going to be a lot to break down, a lot to talk about. Make sure you lock it in with the Locked On Eagles podcast, guys, every day this week. I mean, look, from that standpoint, from a content standpoint, those guys are going to have a lot to talk about this week.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And now, it's not just A.J. Brown. They say he's out a couple of weeks.
I heard Troy Aikman say that.
You heard that early in the broadcast? I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, he divulged something he was told in the coaches meeting that was OTR, off the record.
I mean,
that he wasn't supposed to bring up.
I mean, here we have a hamstring that tightens up in practice on Friday, and all of a sudden he's down a couple of weeks.
Yeah, that seems a little odd, no?
That really changes the way they go about things. I mean, that guy, he commands a lot of attention in that secondary. Goes without saying. He even can clear out areas for other players to go and make plays. You saw like Goddard was basically a no-show tonight. I thought there'd be more offense out of him.
He only got targeted 4 times.
Yeah, and they're going to Calcaterra early in the game. What are you doing?
Yeah. And Covey, the drop off is enormous because the other thing about A.J. Brown is he's a possession receiver. He's a great third down receiver.
Yeah, I mean, Dotson only had 1 catch.
Yeah.
He seems to be slow to be worked into this offense.
Yeah,
it's kind of concerning. So that's for the next couple of weeks. Possibly, who knows? Till Wednesday, they have the bye's early.
The bye's after week 4.
Yeah.
So you have New Orleans next week, and Tampa the week after, and then the bye week.
Right.
And then they will. Next 2 games are on the road too. By
right.
Then they come home against Cleveland, and then they go to the Giants.
Yeah. So Yeah,
All right.
this was a game you had to win. They had it, and they blew it.
All right, that is your Locked On Eagles postcast. Make sure you like and subscribe on all the podcast platforms as well. Subscribe here on the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube page as well. And thanks for making Locked On the Eagles postcast and Locked On Eagles your first listen every day. And for your second listen, you can go find the brand new Locked On NFL, now with 2 shows every day. First, it's the Madman, Tyler Rowland. He kicks off your morning with a double shot of NFL Espresso, and then stop by the barbershop with Tony Wiggins for some real NFL talk. Find Locked On NFL on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts, just like you find this one as well. Everybody, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you next week after the Eagles play the New Orleans Saints right here on the Locked On Eagles postcast. Good night, everybody.